Thank you. That was written by James Albright. Yeah.
Stray bullet and her mama cries. Her baby won't be coming home tonight. Siren screaming down the avenue. Just another story on the evening news. Whoa, whoa. Politics and prejudice. How the hell we ever come to this? When everybody's gotta pick a side, it don't matter if you're wrong or right, I know, and so it goes. But I hold on to hope and I won't let go, because I believe you and me are sisters and brothers, and I believe we're made here to be here for each other.
Love wins. Millie wins. Let's all stand and sing now. Pour yourself in me. Pour yourself in me. Pour yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Pour yourself in me. Pour yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Pour your love in me. Pour your love into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Pour your love in me. Pour your love into my heart.
life in me. Pour your life into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour your life in me. Pour your life into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit, pour yourself in me. Pour yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit, pour yourself in me. Pour yourself into my heart. Wonderful Spirit. Yeah. The breath of God is breathing me and resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well. The breath of God is breathing me and resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well. The grace of God is gracing me and resting in the grace of God. I know that all is well. The grace of God is gracing me and resting in the grace of God. I know that all is well. The love of God is loving me and resting in the love of God. I know that all is well. The love of God is loving me and resting in the love of God. I know that all is well. The breath of God is breathing me and resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well. The breath of God is breathing me and resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well. I know that all is well. I know that all is well. All is well, y'all. Yeah?
All is well, y'all. Y'all, the yees.
Y'all?
Y'all.
Y'all?
That's your department.
That's my department. 20 to 25 years in Houston, you pick up a y'all here and there. So.
Oh, you say it much better than a y'all.
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 Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all. Hey, y'all. Good morning, y'all. I'm Reverend Jacquie Fernandez, Senior Minister.
I'm Associate Minister Eileen Stulak.
And rounding out the ministerial team, we have our music minister, the Reverend Fred Albers. Sit down.
I've got a license now. I've got a license.
He has a license now. I've regretted it all week. No, I'm just kidding. It's been so fun. It's been so fun to celebrate. How fun was it to celebrate Fred last week? If you missed it, give yourself the gift. Take an hour. Go back and watch that online. The music was just out of this world.
Out of this world.
The ministers were great.
Fantastic.
All three of us.
Although he made a lot of work for me this week.
He did.
Every piece of paper that I create that has Fred's name on it, I had to redo it all with Fred. For copy, paste.
It's hard work.
I mean,
it's
really.
Hard work. It's hard work.
You owe me, Albers.
But we are delighted that all of you who are here in the room.
Rev Albers.
To me, right? You're losing control,
We are
boss.
delighted that all of you who have joined us in the room have in fact joined us and don't yet, to this point, regret it. If you're here for the first time, we welcome you. And if you're willing to raise your hand and just let us know that you're visiting for the first time, then people will, some of us have masks on and it might be hard to identify. We'll be sure to greet you and let you feel welcome. Those of you who are tuning in online today or in the future, we call you in, we bring you into this excitement, this spiritual experience, this community, love in action. Yesterday, we had a great time.
Man.
About 25 of us
Yes.
went down to Union Station, and we saw, yes,
Your daughter.
my kid. That's my kid.
That's your kid.
That's my kid.
Proud mama.
I mean, and you only get to take a little bit of credit, really. I mean, I kept her alive. She did the rest. She's amazing, but she wrote a play, The Pirates and the Lost Pearl, and she directed it. It is produced down at Union Station, and about 25 of us went to watch, and it was fantastic, and the jokes.
Oh, they were there.
They were
And,
there.
Are they coming here now?
They're not going to come here. I mean, maybe one or two, but not today. I'm
Okay.
going to wait till you've forgotten about it. Then I'll recycle and repurpose those jokes. But thank you all for making us feel loved and supported and for just showing up for us. That was a great joy. And so she's taking a day off today. She's been working 12-hour days for 3 weeks now. And so we won't get to see her this week, but next week you'll get to shower that love on her. So let's bring it in.
Let's do it.
Let's center in to that one holy presence in the universe, God, the source of all good, animating each and every one of us in this very moment. One creator, one creation. So we live into, we breathe into, we expand our awareness into our oneness, one with each other, with all life. And we allow gratitude to swell in our heart space for all that is, for all that has been, for all that is yet to be, and for the opportunity to be co-creators with that one power, one presence. Manifesting God as self, uniquely each one of us, beautifully. In this way, we know that the world needs each and every one of us, so we live into that, we lean into that. And for the spaces and places in this world where we experience pain, war, grief, fear, doubt, we are the supply, the infinite supply of grace in those spaces, in those places, in the hearts of those who are hurting, grieving. We allow our love to be the healing salve. And in this way, we expand, we brighten that light that is Unity Church of Overland Park, that is each and every one of us, near and far. And so it is. Amen.
And so it is. We know that we are the light and that we can affirm that together there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good. And we know that we are a light in this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. We are a light, we are a light,
We are the light in this world. We are a light. We are a light. We are a light in this world. And we shine. And we shine. And we shine so bright. And we shine. And we shine. And we shine so bright.
And we shine.
And we shine.
And we shine.
And we shine.
And we shine so bright. And we shine.
And we shine.
And we shine.
And we shine.
And we shine
so bright.
Well, here we are, shining so bright. Look at that. Look at all that shine out there. Yay. Thank you so much to Millie for that beautiful song, and to James for playing that guitar, and to Stacy, and our Reverend Jacquie Fernandez, Reverend Eileen Stulak. And Reverend Jackie's lesson today is titled, A Gathering of Sorts. I forgot to thank you, Rev Albers. Thank you, Rev Albers. With the increase in COVID-19 cases in the Kansas City area, we're encouraging everyone to do what you feel is best for you and your families regarding masking, distancing, and so forth. As always, we encourage everyone to be respectful of each other's choices and continue to affirm healing, health, and wholeness for all.
We are partnering with Community LINC Link in support of their annual Pack a Backpack program. That's a lot of P's. Which provides backpacks filled with required school supplies for youth and families who may not be able to obtain them on their own. There are forms on the table at the back of the room with a list of supplies by grade. We are asking for your help in buying a backpack and filling it with the items on the list. If you'd rather leave a financial donation, please do so and we'll do the shopping for you. All donations and backpacks are due back to the church no later than Sunday, August 7th, for delivery to the Community Link on our LINC on August 8th. Please be sure to place your supply list into the backpack when you return it so we know what grade it is for. Your generosity and support for our local school kids, we give just a big thank you.
And if you are interested in joining our prayer chaplain team, the next training is going to be held on Saturday, August 20th. In preparation for that, there will be 2 informational meetings held in order to share more about the program and what it entails. Please plan on attending one of these meetings that will be held. One will be held next Sunday, July 31st, and the following Sunday, August 7th. They will take place immediately after the service in the Idea Lab, right behind that wall.
And lastly, you'll want to save the dates for Sunday, August 28th, and Thursday, September 1st. We will be welcoming Stephanie Barton as our Sunday guest speaker on the 28th, and she will then offer her very popular gallery event on September 1 at 6:30 p.m. Many of you know Stephanie already. She is a longtime friend of UCOP and has offered her gifts as an author, keynote speaker, and intuitive medium for many years. More details will follow soon, so please stay tuned and watch the weekly e-news for updates.
Sounds exciting. Mm-hmm. And now, let's speak the joint vision statement of the Unity Movement. A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
And so this is the time in our service where we take a moment or two to bless the prayer requests that have come into the ministry. Our prayer chaplain for today, Donna Sherman, is going to join me here. And I don't mean to, but I'm going to, if you're willing to just be put on the spot for a moment. When you think of this moment, when you think of when we come together in prayer, what's a word that comes to your heart? And I'll take that word into our prayer today.
Deep, loving connection. I didn't got just one.
That's all right. We'll make it one for today. Deep, loving connection. Let's just breathe those words in, repeat them silently in our minds. Let all that phrase stands for open our hearts. Deep, loving connection. We make one in this moment with Spirit's presence in us. And it is that one power and presence that we affirmed just a moment or two ago that connects each and every one of us all around this world in deep, loving connection with each other, knowing that that is possible in any moment. And so now we extend that loving connection to all those, whether we know their names or not, who have come to this ministry in so many different forms through email, in-person, phone calls, text messages, online requests, asking us to hold the deepest desires of their hearts in our prayers today. And so we make that deep, loving connection with the power of prayer and allow it to be expressed and energetically sent forth in whatever way works for each of us, knowing that as we do, it is in this moment touching the hearts of all those who have asked, all those who have entrusted us and given us the privilege and the honor that it is to hold the highest and best in their lives in whatever way their hearts desire. And so knowing that that is now in action, the universe is responding in right and perfect ways, we offer one more powerful word of prayer, and that is thank you. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, Donna.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. Simply look around and view it. Anything you want to, do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. There's no life that can compare to pure imagination living there. You'll be free if you truly wish to be. to see one. Wanna be a dreamer, be one. Anything you lease, please save me one. There is no place to go to compare to your imagination. So go there to be free. If you truly wish to
Oh, yes, pure imagination. You want to be in that world, yeah? What a grandiose invitation to be in that world. Thank you, Millie. Thank you, James and Reverend Fred. And you kind of have already derailed what I was going to say when I got up here, because that solo, that bass solo, James. Oh, come on. So back when I was music director at Unity of Kansas City North, I used to listen to James and how he played our New Thought music. I'm a bass player, and I would try to emulate him, not to be James, but to be in conversation, to be inspired by him, and to learn what he is saying, how it impacts what I want to say, to make me better, to make me more clear about what I want to say. So tuck that back as you think about places where you find inspiration and how that does or doesn't make you want to be something you are not, or to be more of who you are. So thank you, James, for the gift that you have been. And it is great to do church with you every week. Yeah. So, I am on cloud 9. I'm over the moon. I am walking on sunshine, and it feels good. So let's just pause there. You don't know why. I know you don't know why. But are any of you going to leave here today and tell somebody, Reverend Jacquie went over the moon? Or she thinks she went over the moon. That lady thinks she's walking on sunshine. Impossible. Cloud 9, I mean, there weren't even 8 clouds out there. She can't be possibly on cloud 9 today. Is anybody going to make that meaning out of what I just said? But we do that with Scripture. That has been done with Scripture, and it's really hard to get out of our consciousness. These 7 days of creation that we are working with in this series has been made to be expected to believe as literal. You follow me? But when you hear me use what we know as common metaphor, you know, because it's common language in our culture, that I'm not literally meaning those things. I'm trying to describe an excitement, a feeling, an experience, as were the writers of our Genesis chapters. And so if all you were to read in the Old Testament were the first and second chapters of Genesis, you can move on. But I invite you to dust off your Bible and read those first 2 chapters, because it is gold. It is gold for us today. It is gold for you in your life and for how you express and live your own creative process, because whether you know it or not, you are a creative being. You might think, no. Those artsy people are creative. I am more of a linear thinker. I like numbers. I like lists. I like spreadsheets. Yeah, all of that is creativity. Math, numbers are symbols, just in the same way language is a symbol. It represents something. You are working the muscle of creativity in every single thing you do, whether you know it or not. Most efficiently, we work that muscle with worry. How easy is it for you to worry? That is the most efficient way, and honestly, for some of us, the most effective way we engage our power of creativity. It is a low vibration use of that power. It is a misuse of our power of imagination, our power of faith, right? Because it is so easy to imagine things going wrong. It is so easy to imagine failure. But in the realm of imagination, it is just as easy to imagine success. It is just as easy to imagine everything going right. But our next thought tends to be, but it can't possibly. Or all of the hurdles we have to go through, the mountains we have to climb in order to A, B, C, X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3. See the numbers. So our invitation today is to remember how easy it is to imagine. We are on the third day. And God said, "Let the waters under the sky be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together he called seas, and God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the earth put forth vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees of every kind on earth that bear fruit with seed in it." And it was so. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed of every kind, and trees of every kind bearing fruit with the seed in it. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the third day. That's a mighty fine day. You know what I read in that? Snacks. Fruit, vegetables. We got a veggie tray, we got a fruit platter. Snacks. This is a good day. Okay. Let the waters under the sky be gathered. So if you remember on the second day, this was 2 weeks ago, and we had a lot that has happened since then. The dome above the earth and the waters below the earth were separated. So in ancient Hebrew, there was a belief that the sky was water. So there were waters above and waters below. So that's what that means. Let the waters under, and okay, so back up. Me interrupted myself because the writer is not even placing themselves there. This is before humanity has been created, before humans have been created. So the writer is not claiming to be a witness, right? And the writer is not leading with, "God told me that this is what happened." Do you see what I'm saying? This is poetry. Let the waters under the sky be gathered together in one place, and let the dry land appear. Gathered together in one place. Consciousness. Waters always represent metaphysically consciousness. And so when we are in a state of worry, what's happening with our consciousness? It scatters everywhere. Right? We are not focused. We don't have ourselves gathered. That's why I'm calling this talk a gathering of sorts. We are to gather our consciousness. Stop the energy leaks. Stop the worry that's escaping over here as a leak, and the doubt over here, and the insecurities and the fear. We gather, and then what happens? The dry land appears. Thought. If you're taking notes, write this down. Thought is not thinking. Thought is not thinking. Dry land, thought. The thought appears, and the thought is pure. The thought is divine. The thought is what comes out forward from you, from your consciousness. And it is not thinking. Thinking is what you do to destroy it, right? Thinking is what you do to talk yourself out of it and away from it. Thinking is the monkey mind that wants everything to stay just as it has always been, because it loves the familiar, even if the familiar is a state of fear, is a state of unhappiness, is a state of unfulfillment. If it is familiar, your ego mind wants to preserve it because it is deathly afraid of the unknown. It is designed to help you exist just as you are right now. This is why we know that people don't leave abusive relationships. because it is familiar. Or if they do, they get in another relationship and it also becomes is an abusive relationship. Why? Because they're attracted to the familiar. So in our function or dysfunction, that is the job of the ego mind, is to preserve. It is not an enemy. There's a gift in that, but we must engage the practice of discipline, thought, thinking discipline. So as we open to our creative process on this third day, and it was good. That word good comes from the Hebrew tob, T-O-W-B, tob, which means for its intended purpose. So at every step of the process, God is saying, and this is for its intended purpose. It's not saying, it's taking me so long, I'm God. I should have been able to do all of this in one day or in just a snap or a blink or, like, is that Thor? I don't know which. I'm going to get in trouble with Josie now. Who snaps? Anybody? Okay, moving on. The one, Thanos, thank you, Thanos. Oh my gosh. The one power in the universe. Again, this is not literalism. This is poetry, this is story. So the next step of gathering consciousness, focus, intention, alignment. What do I want? Because what I want to manifest, I might think is out there. I might see it represented as car, as house, as person, as job. But that's not the reality. Your creative process is what comes from in you and then is expressed and brought forward. Those car, house, person are symbols of the creative power that is in you. So we don't have to create creative power. We don't have to make creative power any more than you have to create your own muscles. You are born with it. It is already in you, but you must refine it. You must train yourself in the use of it. You must be disciplined in the use of it because you are working against or with your ego mind, your thinking mind that wants everything to stay easy peasy, just as it always has been, does not want to experience the unknown. And your creative power will always pull you toward the unknown. And it is uncomfortable, it is scary, sometimes terrifying, and it will bring up everything about you that feels unworthy, unready, incompetent. That's why we discipline the thinking mind. So, I had a really great thing. This is why I'm on cloud 9. This is why I'm walking on sunshine. This is why I'm over the moon, because my wife, Tammy Rising, has agreed to come up and share a story. So I'm going to invite you up, Tammy. As I was preparing this talk, I just kept coming to a story that she has shared with me many times as a perfect illustration, demonstration of this practice. So I'm going to invite you, Tammy, to share the story, the car seat story.
Thanks, Rev. Thanks, wife. Well, it was 8 years ago, and I was 40 years old. I was 2 years into my business of being a coach to others, helping them create and manifest what they wanted with the power of their thinking, with the power of their mind, and their action. I deeply wanted a child. And I was single. And I had wanted a child since I was 16 years old, and it hadn't happened yet. And so in my imagination, for those 24 years, I wanted to give birth. So that is the path I went down. And so I bought some sperm, some donor sperm, and got fertility treatments to get pregnant. And that did not work. After several tries, I was told that the next step is in vitro fertilization. And as a single person running a business, that did not seem like my path. Everything inside of me said, that is not my path. But I didn't know what my path was because my heels were dug into the ground. I was tight-gripped on, I want to give birth. And so I did, the only thing I knew to do at that time was to, and the Bible geek's gonna like this, the Bible nerd, I got still. I had to be still. 6 months, I said, I'm giving myself 6 months to discern what my next step is. And I had a friend who was fostering a little boy, and that could have been an option for me, but I wasn't interested. That seemed very scary. It seemed too scary for me to do. It seemed more possible that I could get pregnant with in vitro fertilization than it could be possible for me to have a child through foster care and have it turn out and be able to adopt that child. That's where my imagination was at the time. But in 6 months of getting still, I did it. I started my foster care classes. And Maddie Rose came to me when she was a month old. 1 month old on her 1 month birthday. But let me pause here and tell you what had happened before that. A friend of mine who I worked with at Unity Church of Overland Park before I started my business, Julie Randolph, she gave me a car seat. It was a hand-me-down. And she gave this to me early because her daughter didn't need it, and she was getting rid of things she didn't need. I said, sure, I'll take it early. So what I did with that was I put that car seat in my car when I was trying to get pregnant. Why not, right? Drive around with a car seat in your car and there's no child ever in it. And I did that because for me, like numbers, it was a symbol of what would be possible. And it kept me open to the possibility. And as I was trying to get pregnant, and each time that it didn't happen, and the test came back negative, I said to myself, I'm not worthy. It's not possible. This isn't going to happen. But that car seat kept me in the possibility because it wasn't just my thinking that activated. At every stoplight, I turned around and I looked at that car seat to check on my child, to infuse my imagination with the possibility, to believe it was possible. And so I turned around and I would tear up. Like, oh my gosh. As I disciplined myself, I made myself look because I knew when I looked, I would feel that. Because the feeling is that vibratory force. It is that strong force that draws things to you. Even though I had no idea where it was going to come from, how that was going to happen. So back to my story. I was talking about being in foster care, and as I had that car seat, what that did, it kept me into possibility of maybe the path isn't giving birth. I had to be really clear about what I wanted, which was that child in that car seat, but to stay really open to how he or she was going to come, and not what skin color he or she would be, or what gender. It was just what I wanted that I was staying clear about. And so I started the process of foster care, and that scared the living daylights out of me. I was terrified because it brought up, as I was listening to children going through what they were going through in their abuse and neglect, it brought up my own stuff. So that car seat became even more critical for me because my imagination was going to, I can't do this, I'm not doing this. It's like, this is too much for me. Kept me in possibility. And then 2 years and 10 months later, after dozens of court hearings and monthly foster agency visits to our home and weekly birth parent visits, I adopted her.
You brought up a really important piece of the discipline, and that is connecting to the feeling tone of what we desire and staying open to how something arises. So on the third day, nothing is yet defined, right? The waters are separated, the land appears, the thought appears, and the very next thing is it becomes self-generative. Vegetation, trees, bearing seed of every kind, fruit bearing seed of every kind. So it's not a demonstration of a God presence who makes every detail just so. There is a release of detail and allowing the thought to become self-generative. Do you hear that? Do you feel into that? So we don't have to control what happens. We don't have to make an apple seed become an apple tree that bears more apple fruit. We don't have to force an acorn to become a giant oak tree. We allow it to be what it will become. But the discipline piece, right? If we want to continue with the metaphor of a garden, we have to tend the garden. We have to do and be the presence of that which we desire. That's why it's not about the car. It's not about the parking space. Oh, the secret did so much damage to this teaching and watering it down to, you're telling me you're going to use the divine creative power in you to pick a parking space. You are so much more powerful than that. So much more powerful than that. And it's a distraction to think you can only operate at that level of convenience. Now, on the other hand, you could say that you are operating your own power of manifestation so regularly and so deeply and so completely that the parking spaces just come. But the truth of it is that your mind and your thinking are so disciplined that you accept the parking space that presents itself to you. Do you feel the difference of the focus? It's not out there, it's what's happening in here, just like you described, looking at the car seat. And that could have triggered, and it did at times, the fear, the worry, the unworthiness. And so it became a practice for you to shift those thoughts, to discipline that thinking toward the thought itself of what you wanted.
That's right. The first 2 years I was in business as a coach, Mary Morrissey certified me as a coach, and I worked with her one-on-one for those first 2 years. And I've heard her say many times, but I didn't get it until I lived it in this experience, was that everything happens twice. Everything. First, in our imagination. In the invisible realm, it's happening. We're thinking it. And because it's impersonal, this power, this one power, this God of ours, is impersonal. So if we think about something bad or good or whatever we think, it's first happening in our minds. And the reality is produced. And so I decided that car seat was going to help me think from the place that I wanted to create from. Everything happens twice. And I was on the back patio this morning, and I was thinking about you, and I was thinking about sharing this, and I thought something I had never thought before, which we talk about miracles happening in our life. We talk about the expression of that in the physical world. But what if the miracle is when we think it in our mind, in our imagination? If we shift that, create the discipline to change our thinking, what if that is the miracle? Because what happens after that is the natural order of things. Because the law is the law. It's unchangeable regardless of how we're interacting with it. I could stand up here and fall off, but because it's impersonal, the law, I'm going to fall off. Same thing with you and all of us. And that's why that car seat was so important to me. I had other things that I did as well, but it was a huge part of the process.
That's beautiful. My friend Reverend Lonnie Vanderslice used to say, it's only a miracle if you don't expect it. So that goes right in alignment. If the miracle is the first thought of it, and then the rest is not miracle, it's expectation. There was a study done in 1996, and some experimental psychologists took a group of students and had them throw free throws and tallied their metrics, so how frequently they were able to successfully throw a free throw. Then they divided them into 3 groups. The first group was told to go home for 30 days, don't touch a basketball, don't play basketball, don't think about basketball for 30 days. The second group was told to come to the gym for 30 minutes a day for the same 30 days and practice their free throws. The third group was told to come to the gym for 30 minutes a day for 30 days and visualize throwing the free throws. The group that played no basketball, stayed home, made no improvement. The group that practiced, their free throw percentages increased 24%. The group that visualized, their free throw performance increased 23%. So 24% for those who practice and 23% for those who visualize. The nervous system doesn't register a difference from what you are holding in your mind to what you are doing with your body in the expressed world.
Yeah, so Reverend Jacquie and I are on a paddleboard on Friday, and I'm doing a triathlon next Saturday. And I was doing an open water swim, preparing for the swim part of the event. It's a swim and a bike and a run. And so this is our second time out last Friday. I'm swimming in the open water because that's what the event is. It's not just lap swimming in the pool, which I had been doing to train up until then. And I said to her, when I got on the paddleboard after I was done, she was out for safety with me, and I was so grateful. And I said, I wish I had more time to train because I feel much better than I did this last time. I feel calmer. I feel ready for this. I have a better strategy for staying focused and swimming forward in the water. And she reminded me of the imagination. So here's the thing. We have literal grooves in our brain that goes to, we can't, or there's not enough time, or it's not possible. And even though I had used the discipline, and I do in my life, it's easy to revert back to our old ways and our old ways of thinking. So I appreciated that reminder, because even though there's not time in a week to get out as many times as I want because I need to take care of my body, not overexert it, I can use my imagination to think about being in that water, to think about swimming effortlessly, to think about kicking my legs, think about breathing calmly when my head turns and comes out of the water for that next breath, to think about having the energy to go out to where you go out to and you swim back onto the shore. My imagination, I can do that in my mind because the nervous system doesn't know the difference. So that's what I'm going to be doing this week. That's my promise to myself and to you, to be in this discipline.
Well, I love what you're saying because it demonstrates that if we oftentimes put our focus on naming the problem, we name the problem. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough whatever. I'm not good enough. I'm not this. Other people are in my way. We name the problems, rinse, repeat, and that becomes our focus. And if our thoughts are self-generating, thoughts held in mind, produce after their kind, the thoughts are going to continue to groove, right? Put grooves in that thought train. And so that's where the discipline comes in. So if you can wake up and say, I'm going to have a terrible day, your first shift in that could be, I'm going to have a terribly good day. I'm going to have a terribly prayerful day. I'm going to have a terribly peaceful day. And then you can let go of the word terrible. So it becomes a practice, right where you are. And I think it's worth mentioning, and I know you would agree with this, that people who suffer from anxiety or depression or any kind of malfunction of that thinking mind that we talk about, it's a very real experience. And so this practice isn't meant to disqualify you from that if that is your lived experience. And it is certainly not meant to be held against you or misused against you. That's what we call metaphysical malpractice, spiritual malpractice. So the discipline for you becomes about the awareness of reminding yourself and recognizing when you're in a state of anxiety, when you're in a state of depression, and having that awareness so that you can work with the thoughts that are true and divine that are behind that, because they are always there, they're always with you, and then you begin to support your body in whatever ways, support your habits, support your thinking in whatever ways you need to, again, because the nervous system doesn't know the difference.
There were many times in that 2 years and 10 months that I had that anxiety, as you would call it, the unknown of what was going to happen in the foster process. And so it wasn't that I'd never had those thoughts of negativity or fear. Those were there. It was, what do I want to choose to think when those thoughts crept in? What am I going to choose to put my attention on? What can I do instead? And even though I had been teaching this stuff, getting paid to help people do this stuff, I didn't get it until then. I didn't really get it. That this is what we do. We expect it to happen. Something to happen, but maybe not the way we want it to happen, but expect it to live in that place, to act as if, feel as if, do as if. So I had to change my talk to people about what was happening in my life, what was possible. And I did find myself talking about the problem and what was not happening. Because in the invisible, I mean, the evidence in my life was showing I wasn't going to get to have a child and adopt her. But that's the thing, when it comes into our life, that is the evidence, but we have to sit in that expectation, that feeling, while we can't see it happening. Because things are happening in the invisible realm, we just can't see it yet. So we have to expect it and to feel that possibility, not just think it. If we're thinking in our head and our body's not on board, the thoughts don't, in my experience, the thoughts don't create. They aren't as creative because we are co-creators. So the co-creative expression there is that feeling of yes, yes. And what gave me that feeling was that car seat. That tearing, that was a physical response. That was my body feeling. And the tears were this joy, the expressive manifestation power.
Thank you. Thank you for joining and
Yeah.
for sharing this story. And we're going to keep working with this. Tammy has agreed to finish out the series with me. Yeah. I think it's so beautiful to continue with this story because when we think about creative expression, we are birthing an idea. And so to use this analogy of a baby, you know, and your willingness to consider a different way of birthing your daughter and having that motherhood experience is a great analogy. It's not about just having children, but it's about your thought babies, you know, whatever you are wanting to bring to fruition and how you nurture that and how you prepare yourself and live into the experience that you want to bring in your life without causing self-harm, without abusing your own brain or your thoughts or your heart. So this is how we learn to unleash our creative power. We gather ourselves up. We gather our consciousness. We allow that pure thought to come forward, and then we discipline the thinking so that we can focus on the thought and allow it to self-generate, and then we begin to follow it. So those of you who have joined for the class 2 weeks ago, we're going to have a class again today. This is a drop-in class. So for the summertime, I know a lot of people are going on vacation, but if you didn't go to the first one, you are welcome to come to this one. You won't have missed out, and we're going to continue to work with this idea through painting. So that will be the art media that we use today. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll prepare for a time of meditation.
We just settle in now. Letting go a little bit. Settling into spirit. Settling into love. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way. When I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
So I invite you into stillness. Bring your attention to the breath, just noticing the ease with which it flows in and out. Notice the thoughts thinking through your mind, how easily they flow in and out. Allow your body to relax and your eyes to soften your gaze or close gently as you open to the vast potential living in you. Holy chaos, possibility. Nothing will take form without you. Nothing will take form in spite of you. Nothing will take form against you. It is always only with your permission. So if you are seeing outcomes that you don't like, here's the good news. You can shift. You may not be able to change conditions or circumstances. You certainly cannot change others. But you can engage a shift within. If you desire peace in a relationship, you can be the presence of peace in that relationship. If you desire to purchase a house because of what it might fulfill for you in your life, you can live that fulfillment now, trusting that the house will come to you when you are ready. If you want to create a better outpicturing of health in your body, it begins within, knowing and connecting to the wholeness that is always you, no matter the outer circumstances. As the thought becomes self-generative, you will connect to what true healing means, not attaching to the outer expression of it. If you feel that your mind is working against you with rampant anxiety or depression, thoughts of addiction, you welcome the awareness. There is no shame. There is nothing wrong with you. You are no less creative. You are no less connected to the one power and presence in the universe, God, the source of all that is animating you. Even so, whatever you might identify as a way that you fall short, that is just a thinking. So we release it and allow truth to gather itself in us. Awareness of God moving in, through, and as us. Awareness of self, of monkey mind, of thinking thoughts. And we allow it all to flow together just as it has been designed. And we allow this flow to move in us in silent reflection.
I create love. I create love. As I breathe in, there is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
You know, I'm one of those people who was so happy to find out that my love of numbers was actually creative. And so to hear, that brought up today, it's like, yeah, I mean, my current position especially, I am surrounded and engulfed in numbers sometimes, and I love it. And it does bring out an aspect of creativity in me, and I love bringing those numbers right here to this spot every single Sunday, because when we gather together to bless our offering, we're also blessing all the numbers that make up the time, the minutes that you give in prayer for this ministry. We are celebrating the number of talents and gifts that you give to this ministry through your volunteer service. And of course, we're honoring and we're blessing and celebrating the numbers that are the money, the finances that you give to this ministry. And you give in so many ways. There's cash, there's checks, there's in-person, there's mailing, there's credit cards, there's through the website. And over the last couple of weeks, we introduced to you a new text-to-give number. We're going to bless this text number this morning as well. A number that the ministry allows you to be more creative easily in terms of when you choose and how you choose to financially support us. And so I also wanted to point out to you today that we've expanded that since the last couple of weeks so that you can choose where you would like your texted funds to go. If you don't care and you just type in the number, when we receive it here, it'll just default to a love offering. But we have dual classes taking place right now. Jacquie's on Sundays, I'm on Tuesday and Thursdays with the anti-racism class. If you want to make an offering there, you just need to text the word, give, put a space, and then classes and the dollar amount, and it'll come to us and it'll tell me and us that it's for classes and to mark it accordingly in our records. Stephanie Barton's coming in a few weeks. That's going to be an event. And so you can type in the word event and make an offering in that way. And we'll continue as we continue to expand our programs and there's more options and opportunities for you to give. We'll keep you informed about that. So we just wanted to point that out. And having questions, see me. It's in the e-news with a wonderful blog that our website designer and e-news manager has created as well that walks you through all those steps. And so let's take all these wonderful numbers that we create together. And I love the closing words to our daily word reading today where it said that we are the hands and heart of God in the world. And I've often said, let's take our offerings in our hands, hold them in our hearts, and let's affirm them as being given with joy and giving out into this world as the hand and heart of God at work. And so let's bless them together by speaking the words that are before you now on the screens. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am joy-filled and grateful.
Bring it on, everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. And I'm through crying, and I'm through waiting. never return. I think I finally learned, so bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. And I'm through grieving, and I'm through dreaming that the life I had is ever coming back. No more wishing on someone else's star that'll never be mine. I think it's time to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. And I've been down many times before, broken hearts and slamming doors. I'll be all right, yes I will, once more, just as I did back then. I'm gonna rise again, bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. Bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new.
Yeah, Millie Edwards.
Amen. Woo! Bring it on.
You know, I know there's stuff going on and things we should know about, and I might just have to go home and just dream it up. Or, wait, is there some way that I could know what's happening in this ministry and with stuff?
Only
Wait.
about 20 ways, yeah?
Maybe the platform assistants would tell us. I am sure glad you guys are here. Let's hear it for them.
All right. Thank you, Reverend Fred. Next week, the message is going to be, we're just changing, about big egos, Reverend Fred.
What? Wait, where's my sound engineer when I need him?
Just kidding. All right.
Just kidding.
Yeah, Fred said his part, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I already told him thank you. Reverend, we're not forgetting that. After the service today, feel free to stop by the Yarn Blessing table at the outside exit door. Everything there is available for a love offering. Gather in the cafe for refreshments and community, and the Raise Right fundraising table is also in the cafe to purchase gift cards for special events or everyday shopping needs.
So now, let's join together in speaking our mission statement. Together, please. Unity Church of Overland Park transforms lives, and empowers people to make a difference in the world. So we look forward to seeing all of you shining lights next week as Reverend Jacquie continues her Unleash Your Creative Power series with a lesson titled For Signs and Seasons. Plus, we get to hear Willis. We will welcome back Willis White.
All right.
He's back in town from his cruise work, and we're thrilled that he'll be joining us. So now, we don't have Josie. We do have one kid, but she's going to stay there. Please stand as we close our service with God in Everything.
I feel joy, I see peace, I see goodness surrounding me. I see love in every breath I breathe. I see God in everything. I see happiness, I see freedom. I see the beauty that lives in me. I see perfection in what life brings. I see God in everything. I see joy, I feel peace, I feel goodness surrounding me. I feel love in every breath I breathe. I feel God in everything. I feel happiness, I feel freedom. I feel the beauty that lives in me. I feel perfection in what life brings. I feel God in everything. I choose joy, I choose peace. I choose goodness surrounding me. I choose love in every breath I breathe. I choose God in everything. I choose happiness, I choose freedom. I choose the beauty that lives in me. I choose perfection in what life brings. I choose God in everything. I know joy, I know peace. I know goodness surrounding me. I know love's in every breath I breathe. I know God's in everything. I know happiness, I know freedom. I know the beauty that lies in me. I know perfection in what life brings. I know God in everything. I know God's in everything.
Join me in the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. Have a creative and lovely week, beloveds.